I do not like this subject, but I was called to talk about it, so let's go. We have to be aware of the invisible forces that are our contenders, all right? Not giving them credit, not giving them power, but we have to be mindful that they do exist, all right? And I've heard Bentinho Massaro refer to it like this: we are playing a multi-dimensional game of chess with opponents that we don't even know exist. So for a lot of the journey, we're just kind of fumbling around, not even knowing about what's going on in the ethers, right? And the more you awaken and the more light you hold and the more you're sharing your message and helping other people awake, you may get these attacks a little more. And if you don't know what or who you're playing against, right? You're going to take all these thoughts on to be your own. And it could possibly spiral you into weeks or months of depression. Okay, now they work in very subtle ways, and these are absolute masters. It's just that they made the dark side their home. And I've been adding here and there in my videos little bits about this, and I just feel like I wanted to make a whole video on this just so um, everybody can become more present and more aware and more mindful of how they're feeling, what they're thinking. Is this my thought? Am I really feeling this right now? Because sometimes this can be really subtle, right? Maybe something slightly irritating happens. These cosmic shamans can exaggerate that energy into something that literally can cause you to go into like a rage. This is how people sometimes go into like suicidal depressions, because these entities are feeding that energy, feeding those thoughts. It's like thought projection. Now, don't go sharing this with people that are not awakened. They will lock you away, all right? So this is for those to become more mindful. Now, this isn't fair, all right? Because we're up against things that we don't know are there. So this is why I'm sharing this now. And everything about a lot on this journey isn't fair to the personal sense of self. Now, ultimately, this is allowed because these entities serve us as catalysts. They accelerate our awakening. They force us into consciousness, right? So we can literally send them love and thank you, because none of your physical friends ever helped you out like this, right? They can also work through other people, right? You ever notice somebody, it's like, you're not quite yourself, right? Okay, so that's an example, a real subtle example. And the best thing you can do at that time is just to distance yourself from that person, move so that they can't just, streamline that energy into that situation. You could have a fight or a blow up. This is what happens in domestic abuse a lot of the time. So these are all these things that we were never aware of before. And the reason I don't like talking about it is because they only really have the power and energy that we give them. But if we don't know that they're influencing us in all kinds of ways, right? We are just like bombarded everywhere you look: social media, the media, other people, grocery stores, anywhere you go, right? So it's a whole big ocean of all these mixed frequencies, different stations, and they are of a low vibration. So if you're not feeling all that great yourself, you're a target. Or if, the light attracts the light, but it also attracts the darkness, right? So if you're starting to step out into service and share, you might get these attacks a little more. So it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just something to be mindful about, to understand that there are non-benevolent forces that do not want you awake, that do not want you shining the light, right? Because then their agenda has failed. Ultimately, everything is serving us, but we need to be mindful of this, because these can really turn into long bouts of depression and struggling and strife. These low vibrational thoughts that you're getting, they're not yours, all right? You're not your thoughts, all right? That's part of awakening, is coming into consciousness, is we are not our thoughts, right? And then you start having these expansions of consciousness, and then 2-3 days later you start to feel this real shitty energy around you. And that's what that is. So anyway, I don't like this subject, but I've been called to share. And if you want to stick around, I'm going to read a declaration that you can use. This isn't my words. These are Bentinho Massaro's words. I want to credit him, but he said it so beautifully, and I've kept this and use it when I start to feel a little wonky myself. So here we go. And you can take these words on as your own. In the love, in the light, and in the power of the one infinite creator, I command that I am the sole occupant of this mind, body, spirit, and of this house and my every environment wherever I may go. I now blast and bathe all influences and strongholds rooted in lesser intentions that may have an interest in my journey. In this love, in this light, and in this indisputable power of the Infinite One, whom is real and my only self. I rest in Source, therefore Source abounds in and around me. Only good comes from me, and only good comes to me. My field is my fortress, and it is impenetrable. I release all allegiance to negative whispers and replace them all, old or new, with the love, light, and power of the one infinite creator invested in me. My energy is clean, my consciousness is clear, my soul is happy, and my heart radiates the purest of love out to all beings with the brilliance and blazing power of 100 billion suns unified into one. All is one, the one is all, I am forever free. Amen. And I've used that multiple times, and it really does lighten your whole field. It clears it up, because you never know when this is going to hit, right? It's usually when you're least expecting it, when you just think it that, you're enlightened, and all of a sudden you're not. So until we're absolute masters of our minds, something like this could really serve your journey. I hope that was of service to somebody out there, or lots of somebody's other selves. Lots of love.